Pambansang Awit ng Pilipinas.
Kayang magiliw, ewas ng sinakalan, alam ng puso, sa titik mo'y buhay. Lupang hinirang, tuyag ka ng magiting, sa manlulupin, di ka pasisingil, sa nagatak tutok sa simoy at sa langit mong pangaw, ay hinatang tula, kawin sa pagkayang minamahal, ang isang ng matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig, ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di magtitingin. Luman ang araw ng walhagin pagsinta, buhay langit sa piling mo. Ang inigaya na pagkay mga aking, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
You weathered the long years, and now with us you still abide. From simple solitary room to great and soaring wide. And each time the brave heart remembers your humble story, it fills with pride. Every pleasure in our heart and spirit, the same spirit will survive. Home and mother, our searching soul, beloved university. From humble Argos, your early strange shores are made to be truly free. Though our relevant force to our research resource, and your patient technology, we will march at the front in a war against one, and make our heaven let us be, and make our heaven let us be. And onwards with certain with boldness we set our course, from simple ordinary food to great Atlantic floors, learning and yearning to set out in new directions, ambitious goals, for the generations that are yet to be, course of life and dignity. It's our once and future legacy for country and for university.
Hello, what a pleasant afternoon everyone. I am Emmanuel Gister D. Abadilla, your host for the afternoon. And welcome to our webinar entitled At War's End by Rony V. Diaz. And now, let's have our opening remarks presented by me. Today is a wonderful day for us. We are here to know the different kinds of story we presented to each one of us, that we may learn and apply it to our daily lives as we live. Life is precious. As we open our webinar, may the lessons we learn from our story and give emphasis not only ourselves, but all of us. And now, we are here to present to you At War's End by Rony V. Diaz, presented by the Group 5. And now, let me give you the bibliographical information about the author of chosen story. So, who is Rony V. Diaz? Rony V. Diaz is an award-winning and the best Filipino writer. He was born in Cabanatuan, Nueva Ecija, in December 2, 1932. The book with the name of the author. He was educated at the University of the Philippines, Indiana University, in the United States. So the Rockefeller Foundation gave him the writing grant when he was a student or he was in the United States. He taught English composition and literature at the University of the Philippines. He held Director General to the National Manpower of Youth Council of the Department Labor and Chairman of the Textbook Board in the Department of Education. So, kanyang si Rony V. Diaz is ilhado kayo siya sa una pa and have a great position from in the government and also in education. So, Rony V. Diaz ran the Asian and Pacific Skill Development Program. He was Executive Director of the Congressional Commission on Agricultural Modernization, and Executive Director of the Congressional Commission on Labor. He was the publisher of the Manila Times and its science columnist under her quit to devote all his storytelling. So, Rony V. Diaz is most Filipino known Filipino author because he devoted all his time in storytelling and making novels. So he published The War's End at January 1, 2010. So now, I'm done with the background of the author of the story. Now, let me introduce the next presenter. She is a person who never gave up in her studies. Even she struggles in her internet connection, but still she finds ways to continue and listen to our class. And now, let us welcome the beautiful, gorgeous woman of the Aloginsan, Miss Jeneline P. Del Rosario.
So these are the characters of the story. So first is Virgilio Serrano, the main character, a sophomore student at the University of the Philippines, Diliman, who came from a wealthy family. Virgilio's mother died when he was 9. He was left with his aunt to manage their land left by his father. The second one character is Don Pepe. He worked hard to give Virgilio the best resources and opportunities in life. The third one is Clara, aunt of Virgilio and the one who looked after him, to took care of him. The next one is Honesto Garcia, Clara's husband, and didn't have proper education but is strong-willed and is straight smart. And he also grew up from Jaén Nueva Ecija, and who also have their own land but isn't as big as compared to the Serranos. And the next one is Carding, who happened to appear at the latter part of the story, reveals on the real reason of Virgilio's life-changing decision. Next one is Nestor Gallego. He is confident and narrator of the story through his point of view, and who sensed that there is something that is bothering Virgilio, a second-year student at the University of the Philippines, come from the same town of Virgilio, Jaén in Nueva Ecija. And also, he knows Virgilio since 1942, and Virgilio consider him as the closest friend in university. The last one character is Arturo, the driver of Virgilio, and who find out that he committed suicide. And he then rushed to Nestor to tell what happened.
Thank you so much, Jeneline. After learning the different characters of the story, let us all welcome our second presenter. He is a man who has philosophy in life that never wither. He is one of the captain of his faith, and no matter what path he takes, he will achieve it no matter what happens. And now, let's all welcome Mr. Aldi Huxley Bacchus.
Yes, this is Aldi Huxley Bacchus. Regarding about the plot of At War's End, on July 14, 1950, in the evening, Virgilio killed himself in his bedroom by slitting his wrist with a straight razor and thrusting them into a pail of warm water. With the death of Virgilio, the immense wealth of Serranos devolved on Clara, Honesto, and their 5-year-old son Jose Jr. The story starts out dramatically by stating, the evening before he killed himself, Virgilio Serrano gave a dinner party. The settings of this story, At War's End, it was set shortly after the end of World War II in Manila. It is narrated in the first perspective by a college friend of Virgilio. In the later part of the report, it will be discussed the summary of the story by Marilu Caminero.
Thank you so much for elaborating the plot of our story, Mr. Bacos. And now, let's meet the two beautiful women. First, she is a fighter and has a great strength, but weak inside. Even so, she fights for her dreams to achieve. And the second presenter have a no fear to fight in every challenges in her life to achieve her ambitions. And now, let's all welcome our two beautiful ladies from Bulacau and Argao, Miss Marilo A. Caminero and Miss May Ann Dingding.
Go.
The summarization of the story At War ends. The evening before he killed himself, Virgilio Serrano gave a dinner party. The story of At War Ends tells about the life of the main character Virgilio Serrano. At War Ends set shortly after the end of the World War II in Manila, and that is told by the first person and host, a college friend of Virgilio Serrano, which is Nestor. They are both in their 20s. Virgilio has a great life way back then. He is the only son and lives with his father Don Pepe, who has the great power and wealth in their town, and together with his Aunt Clara. After his father died, her Aunt Clara is the one who is beside him and give him all the best in life. He lived in a mansion with 4 servants and a driver, whose the only job is to wait on him. The neighborhood he lives is beginning in recovery from the consequences of war and battle from Manila, but through luck, his mansion was undamaged. It is the center of intellectual gatherings where people stay all at night talking about arts, literature, and politics. His family has a huge agricultural plantation with over 1,000 tenants, and was managed by his father's sister, Clara, who lived there full-time in their hacienda. He was a very astute businesswoman who knew where the peso went out and came from.
In the universities, there is much talk of social justice. Virgilio begins, under pressure from classmates and influenced by what he reads, to question the justice of 1,000 tenants and their family working in grinding poverty just to support him in leisured comfort. Carding revealed the real reason of Virgilio's life-changing decision, the calamity that will bring down his class, to give up his land, his privilege, and his power. That is the only way to avoid the coming calamity. He begins to think, once the time comes when he is in control of the estate, he will either will it to the tenants or perhaps, after providing for Aunt Clara, divide it up and end the feudalism his family has lived from 4 generations. And Virgilio killed himself because he did not feel he could live with the guilt of being the lord of a vast estate while at the same time not being able to live without the status and money this brought him.
Thank you so much, both of you. for the wonderful summary. And now, let's all welcome a woman that have a greater ambition in life. She works at the same time as she studies. Work is not hindrance for her studies. So now, let's welcome Miss Rosemary Alcordo from Pardo.
Hello everyone, I am Rosemary Alcordo, so I'm going to share about the theme of the story entitled At War's End by Rony Diaz. So the theme of the story of At War's End is friendship and sorrow, because even the last day of her life, he wrote a poem dedicated to her best friend. All of the reasons why he killed himself was in that poem. Even in the darkest time of his life, his best friend didn't leave him, because a true friend is one who knows our struggles without judgments, who knows our victories, and who comes alongside us as we experience either as we would for them. A true friendship allows us to divide our pain and double our joy. In the quotes, I would rather walk with a friend in the dark than alone in the light. That's why he gave up his land and power to avoid calamity of his member in the future. What is the point of having power and the privilege without true people who truly love and care for you? It is important to have a friend like this, because during the darkest times in your life, they can make these times more bearable and help you see a positive in almost any situation or circumstances. The next slide is about the moral lesson of the story. First, suicide is not a solution to a problem. Suicide is rampant in our society, so we must be kind to anyone because we don't know their sufferings and struggles in silence. Almost every one of us has someone whom we can trust and share problems with. If you are feeling hopeless, worthless, depressed, anxious, and are experiencing loss of pleasure or having suicidal thoughts, don't deny these thoughts. Confront them. Seek help. Using cope strategies like thrill seeking, listening to music, watching numerous movies, engaging in drugs is not going to work. They may provide momentarily relief, but they are not going to yield a permanent result. Accept the reality. Confront your problems. If your problem is such that it can be solved, look for the ways. If it is beyond your control, accept it. Turn to your Lord, seek help and strength from Him. Try to find meaning in everything. Use religion as a coping strategy. Trust your Lord and faith and believe that whatever happens is for our good, and in every adversity there are returns for us. Though consolation like this may seem difficult at times, it is not impossible. The second, we must check our friends and talk to them. Make sure that they are all well and okay. Sometimes they are going through things that are heavy and they're needed sometimes to talk. Whenever you know someone is in trouble, try to do whatever you can, whether it is emotional help, social help, psychological help, or financial help. Lend whatever you have the capacity to lend. If you realize your support is not enough, then motivate them to consult a professional counselor or a psychiatrist. Be sensitive to the content of conversation. If you feel your friend or relative or loved one is sad, irritable, hopeless, talking about death again and again, having no interest in life and other activities, then start exploring what the issue is that is perturbing him or her. Many times after losing a beloved family members or relatives or friends start realizing that they were being given clues about pathetic mental condition by victim but they didn't pay heed. It is very important for us to remember that we all at the some point of time in our critical juncture of life need help in the form of counseling or psychotherapy, and there is no shame in seeking help. Just as our physical bodies needed doctors, our mind also need healing. If we can manage our stress, then good. If not, then we should not hesitate to share it with our family, friends, or professionals. So the next moral lesson, believe in your instinct. Just like what happened in the story, Nestor sensed that there's something wrong bothering Virgilio, but he didn't do anything. So, if you experiencing like this, don't leave your friend. Observe her, listen to her rants, divert his mind from positive, make her happy, and say it to his family so that they can also observe them. That's all for today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everyone, for presenting our report. Let's proceed to our closing remarks presented by our beautiful professor, Miss Jackie Zaldivar.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abadilla. So, what is war? In Wikipedia, it is defined as an intense armed conflict between states, government, societies, or paramilitary groups such as mercenaries, insurgents, and militias. The three simple letters that creates a big impact to each of us humankind. We have engulfed ourselves with the wars of the world, and with that, we have forgotten the biggest war of all. It is the war within us, the war between our minds, our egos, and our hearts. To the distinguished speakers present today, and to you, participants, a pleasant day to all. Whether we deny it or not, we wake up and sleep with wars inside us. This is a given daily dose of both sanity and insanity. Our fights may not be as big, as broadcasted, as known, and even sensationalized like the wars of states and countries. Some choices, however, it is our day-to-day reality. We are bombarded with choices each moment. Some choices are great, some are not. We love and praise ourselves for the good ones, and we cry and be in despair for the bad ones. At the end of the day, we look back, think back, and we ask ourselves questions which we are sometimes way beyond what we can think and do. Life hits hard. We may not belong to the same status in life. We have different perceptions, principles in life, but we all have an equal footing, and that is, none of us knows what the future holds. True enough that sometimes the hardest battle we fight is a battle within, the fight between who you are now and who you want to be. We want to play the role of superheroes. We want to think that we have all the answers. We want to be the solution to every problem. However, we are mortals. We are built to make mistakes. We are built with intricacies. There are times when things happen, the unexpected, the uncalled for, the unintentional. Life just simply happens. We become damaged, and anything can happen, and all those will leave a mark. But the mark that they leave can be a mark of victory. It is not what we go through that determines where we end up. It is an opportunity to make us stronger, wiser, stable, resilient, and be better. Every human has what it takes to get past through whatever they are going through, if they decide to. May all have the courage to face the fears, the unknown, and take on the journey of life. May all have the strength to fight each and every battle that comes within every moment of each day. Once again, to all, have a pleasant day.
Thank you so much, Miss Zaldivar. And let me thank you, each one of you, who listened to our webinar. I hope you enjoy and you've learned something from us. This is your host, Emmanuel Jester D. Abadilla, signing off. And thank you and goodbye, everyone.